Hey gang, AV here. Welcome to my review of the Aliens Colonial Marines Xenomorph Lurker by Hiya Toys. Here he is in the packaging. As you can see, he has a window box, so you can see the majority of his items in the box before you purchase it. Here on the right hand side as well as the left, you can see that there are a ton of Xenomorphs as part of the box art. On the bottom, not much going on there, just a regular pattern that's continued on the bottom of the box. On the top, just says Aliens Colonial Marines with a picture of a Xenomorph. And on the back, you have two product shots of the figure inside. That's all there is really to say about the box. I actually have 3 of these figures. I already have one opened off camera, so we're just going to jump right in and have a look at him. And here he is. Stand him up there. As usual, we're going to have a look at his accessories first, and we're going to start off with his figure base, which is right here. It has a single foot peg. It has a grate pattern on there with some airbrush detail. Not much to say about it, except for the fact that it's very thin and it doesn't have the typical slots that you would see on other Hiya toy figures bases, where you would put the H-shaped clips to put it together to make a floor. Still, it's a figure base. It's going to help him stand when he's on your shelf. Can't go wrong with that. So he's got that. He's got his opened facehugger egg. Which has quite a bit of room there. It goes all the way down. It won't fit the facehugger that comes with it. However, you could put the tail in there. You may be able to get a light in there, although I think the plastic is a little too thick for it to actually show through properly. Still, it's very cool. You can sit there right in the middle of your display, have your face huggers around it. It's a very cool accessory to have. I like it. And the detail on it is really nice too, as well as the paint. It definitely looks the part. He has this face hugger here, which has a little bit pliable plastic, but it's not really what I would call bendable. It'll bend for you a little bit, but it's also the type of plastic that would crack if you put too much pressure on it. The tail does offer quite a bit of wiggle room. However, it is glued into the facehugger itself, and it will break off if you're not careful. So don't expect this to be able to bend or be wrapped around a figure's neck or whatever. It's not going to work, unfortunately. However, it is excellently detailed, as you can see. Let me see. Let me get the light in here a little bit better so you can see that. Very, very cool looking accessory there. I do kind of wish I could actually get it to stand, but maybe a little bit of putty, and then you can still get it to walk. Would be pretty cool. He also comes with 6 additional hands, which, I'll be honest, I don't really swap out that often. A, because they have very, very small pegs. Very small. And as we know with Hiya Toys, the plastic quality is usually in question, and I'll touch on that further in a minute. But so not only am I afraid of breaking these things, but also because they're not that different from the hands already on the figure. I mean, it's not like he needs to grasp anything, although he could with this one. This one is like a striking claw pose, which is very cool. I mean, I don't see myself changing these out often. I do see myself choosing the appropriate hand for whatever pose I plan on putting them in, and then leaving it in there for the duration of my owning the figure, you know. But he does have 6 different hands, 4 for each side, including the ones that are already on the figure itself. So you have this one. You have that one. You have this one. And you have that one. So you can see they're cool, but it's not like you need them to hold a certain gun or whatever. you get the gist of it. So put that off to the side. And let's have a look at the figure itself. We'll look at his detail first. As usual with Hiya Toys, phenomenal sculpt job on these figures. Great articulation. He doesn't really have any paint apps, but still, they're renowned for that as well. The biggest gripe with the Hiya Toys figures is the plastic quality. So when you do get these guys, you do want to open it up and use it with the hair dryer on it. Loosen up those joints. Do not force anything because they will break on you. And I have 3 of these figures. 2 of them I had issues with. One, the knee cracked right off. I had to glue it back into place, which means I can't pose it now. And then the other one, this plastic clear dome came off. I had to apply a little bit of glue to where the tabs are. It stayed on permanently after that, of course, but still, those are things you shouldn't have to do and have to deal with a brand new figure, you know. So that is a concern that is worth mentioning with these figures. They look fantastic and they are worth the risk, in my opinion, but there is a risk that they'll break on you. So just bear that in mind. Let's go over his articulation. So his head is on feels like a barbell joint with a hinge. So he can look straight ahead, basically, because of the shape of his head. He can't really look up. He can look straight down, though, which is really cool. He can tilt his head from side to side, so you can get some expression that way. And he can rotate his head probably 360 degrees, although I'm not going to force it. And definitely get it left and right, though. His shoulders will do a full 360. He can put his arm down almost flat, and he can put it up about this high, which is excellent. There's nothing at the bicep. His elbows will rotate a full 360. They can flatten out, and they can bend up about 60 degrees. His wrists swivel 360 degrees. I don't believe there's a hinge there, and if there is, let me see. No, I don't believe there's a hinge there. And I don't want to force it because the pegs that hold them in there are very small. He's got an excellent range of motion there at the rib cage. Nothing at the hips. His legs are kind of funky. They go out on an angle because of the shape of them, so they rotate that way. They also have a hinge there so you can go in and out about that far. So he can get his leg up, and you can rotate it back for a kicking motion. Can't really get it back. Well, he can do it back, actually. I don't know what I'm talking about. 360 degrees. His knee will bend 90 degrees just about. It also has a full 360 degree rotation there. His ankles can flatten out and bend up about that far. And last but not least, his tail, which is bendable. So you can pose it and it'll hold a pose, which is very cool. I am a big fan of that. So let's get him standing up. We'll do a size comparison and then give my final thoughts. Let's get him looking pretty decent there. Okay, here he is next to a vintage G.I. Joe figure. As you can see, he is noticeably taller than a typical 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe. And he should be. Xenomorphs are, I think they're between 7 and 8 feet tall. So if you figure if the G.I. Joe is 6 feet tall, Xenomorph is meant to be taller. So he is in proper scale for 1/18. Let's get him next to a vintage collection Star Wars figure. As you can see, same thing. 3.75 figure. Noticeably taller. Here he is next to a more modern 4-inch G.I. Joe figure. The Dollar General Cobra Trooper. Again, looks great next to him. Here he is next to a Boss Fight Blank. Looks great next to him. And last but not least, a Marvel Universe Captain America, who is also a 4-inch figure. Probably slightly taller than 4 inches, actually. So he looks great next to all these figures. And just so you can see a size comparison with the face hugger, it's the appropriate size. It covers the entire face, but you can't really get it to attach with the hands grasping the head. It would be nice if they came out with one that you could do that with, but so far they haven't. All in all, I'm very happy with this set. I really do like this figure quite a lot. There are quality control issues which you do have to be mindful of, just because these joints are very, very small. They are very fragile. You do want to be very careful with these, as you would any other Hiya Toys figure. But I do personally believe that the trade-off, it's still worth the purchase for the price point, the articulation, the sculpt, and usually the paint job as well. I mean, these figures are fantastic. If you wanted a Xenomorph figure with your 1/18 scale collection, this is definitely the way to go. So anyway, this has been AV. If you like this video, check out my channel. If you like what you see there, then please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.